Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives, back for another ranking video. I've had a few requests for this band. I've had all this material for quite a few years. I never got into them back in the day. The band is Primal Fear, formed in 1998 by Ralph Sheepers and Matt Sinner. But I was a bit late to the party, but I'm definitely comfortable enough to talk about these 13 albums and give them a ranking. Maybe you can use that as a bit of a guideline if you're newer to the band, or if you love the band, let me know your ranking in the comments too. So, like I said, formed by Ralph Sheepers, former Gamma Ray vocalist, and Tyron Pace, and Matt Sinner from the band Sinner. Both really solid musicians. They are really the kind of the foundation of the band for sure. Matt does a lot of the producing, especially over the last several albums. And of course, Ralph, a great vocalist. He didn't get that spot in Judas Priest, which is okay to me, and he left Gamma Ray, which I figure is the best of both worlds, really. I did enjoy his work in Gamma Ray, but I am a huge Kai Hansen fan, so I was pretty happy when Kai took over vocal duties. A very unique voice, whereas Ralph is just a pure metal singer. And that's what this band is. They're, power / speed, but to me, they just fall mostly in that traditional metal category. They generally, on at least one song on every album, is one of those kind of epic, ballady type of songs, more so on their newer stuff. Their earlier stuff is more, I would say, more metal versus more the power metal later. This band definitely has a formula, but with different ingredients added, sprinkled in throughout their discography. I would say, is every album samey? Not really. If you really break it down and listen to them, you'll see some differences. But yeah, there is some back-to-back albums that sound a little bit similar. But so yeah, Ralph left Gamma Ray to form this band, and I'm glad they did. But I guess I should just stop babbling on. We'll get on with this ranking. A few lineup changes in here as per my ranking, and if you are new to the channel, welcome. I will rank them if I own them, and I have been I do own all 13 of their studio albums, and I do enjoy them. And one last thing. That old adage, what people say, oh, this band has never made a bad album. I would say Primal Fear has never made an absolute shit album. They're very consistent. I would say, is their album going to be #1 album of the year? For me personally, no. But what you get with Primal Fear is just a good, consistent album every 2 to 3 years. 13 albums. They've only been around since 1998. There's bands from the 80s that don't even have that much output. But so what you're getting here is consistency. So mediocre albums, yes, we'll start off with a couple of those. But terrible, not so much. So let's get rolling. Coming in at number 13, their 8th overall studio album from 2009. This is called 16.6, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. And what you'll see on every one of these covers is this bird of prey type of raven / I don't know what it is, but it's a cool mascot, and you will see some sort of form of it on every cover. Anyways, this one is my personal least favorite. Not terrible. It does have some great tracks. And I'm going to name a few tracks throughout, maybe some lineup changes. So this is the first album to feature Magnus Carlsson, who is, I guess at the time, technically the 5th member, because they went on to be a 6-member band later on with 3 guitar players. But Magnus Carlsson is a great songwriter. A great part of this band. I don't think he always tours with these guys, to be honest with you, but check out the tracks: Riding the Eagle, 6 Times Dead, and my favorite track, Killbound. So coming in at number 13, is 16.6, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Okay, coming in at number 12, their second to last album, their 12th overall studio album from 2018. This is called Apocalypse. And at the time, this is their last album to come out on Frontiers before they re-signed again with Nuclear Blast. Songs to check out on this album. And I don't know, this one is just kind of samey throughout, but there is some strong points. And my favorite tracks would be The Ritual, Kings of Madness. That's probably the best song on this album. And Hounds of Justice. I think all of those were like lead-off singles. And this is the last to feature Francesco Giovino on drums, which you would know him from other bands, most notably probably UDO. And he went on to do other things. So that is number 12. Coming in at number 11 is their fifth overall studio album from 2004 called Devil's Ground. This one is the first to feature Randy Black on drums. Randy Black, I can proudly say, is from right here in my home country in Canada. And he went on to be on 6 out of these 13 albums. And he is also the current drummer for Destruction, if you're not familiar with one of the German Big Four. And of course, he was a part of some really important Annihilator albums, some good Canadian thrash. But I think this is just really my least favorite of the kind of the beginning of Primal Fear. This is only their 4th release, but there's some really good tracks on here. Metal is Forever, which is a staple in their live show right till today. Check out Suicide and Mania, and The Healer, another great track to check out. And I should show you these covers a little bit better, but there is Devil's Ground coming in at number 11. Coming in at number 10, and the next one. I've seen these ranked a bit higher. I guess that would just boil down, obviously, any ranking is just your preference and your opinion, but these are kind of lower on the totem pole here. I think they're in the middle of trying to find their current sound and still kind of going away from their older sound a bit. And what I mean, the first sound is just pure metal. It's like some priest worship in there, soaring vocals, things like that. Great solos. But coming in at number 10, their 6th overall studio album, and at the time the last to come out on Nuclear Blast, but that is 7 Seals from 2005. Pretty cool, kind of like a foil stamp version logo of the kind of the bird of prey. But check out some tracks. Let's see. I would say the title track, 7 Seals, really good. Evil Spell and Roller Coaster. And there's actually, we'll go 4 on this one because there's a really cool heavy track 8 called Carnivore. But coming in at number 10 is 7 Seals from 2005. And coming in at number 9, their first to be featured on Frontiers Records. So Primal Fear's first 6 albums came out on Nuclear Blast. Then the next 6 were on Frontiers. And then the 13th, their latest, they inked a new deal with Nuclear Blast. So both great labels, to be honest with you. But so coming in at number 9, their 7th overall studio album from 2007. It's got some great tracks. I like this one, obviously, a little bit more than 7 Seals. Let's see. This also features the return of one of their earlier guitar players, Henny Wolter. He was on probably at least 5 albums. Some of the lineup changes, there's actually not as many lineup changes with this band as you would think. There is kind of a group of 4 or 5 guitar players that have, Tom Nauman was initially in the band, then came back, left one time, and is currently in the band. Things like, I'll try to explain that as I go, but not as many lineup changes as you'd think. But all right, some great tracks here. The lead-off track is, I think, still a live set staple. It's called Sign of Fear. Fighting in the Darkness, just a great, I had mentioned earlier, those kind of epic tracks, those, some of them are longer than others, stuff like that, but they're kind of more in the power metal for sure, infused with your traditional metal, which these guys have all those little elements sprinkled throughout their discography. And another track I suggest or recommend you try is Blood on Your Hands. But yeah, coming in at number 9, New Religion from 2007. Coming in at number 8 is their latest album from 2020 called Metal Commando, and their return to Nuclear Blast, and in my opinion, more of a return to the metal sound that they started out with. Very cool cover. They probably wanted to make a bit of a statement, that return back to Nuclear Blast, a really strong metal label. I'm sure you know who Nuclear Blast is, but excuse me. First single on this album came out, and I thought, the first single was Along Came the Devil. If you listen to those lyrics, it's some corny shit in there, but I absolutely love it. I like that raise your fist metal, I don't know. It's fun. And, take it for what it's worth. Don't get too bent out of shape on lyrics. Just listen to the music. But other great tracks. I Am Alive, the leadoff track, awesome. Hear Me Calling, one of those epic type of, more power metal in that one for sure. And a nice ballad called I Will Be Gone, which they did release an EP, and I have it right here, featuring Tarja. There's the EP called I Will Be Gone. It has that track with Tarja on it, singing a duet with Ralph, and then a few kind of leftovers from Metal Commando, which I'm glad they split it off. To me, it just makes things, I wouldn't throw those tracks on just to throw them on. Make an album simple, 10, 11 tracks, but actually if you cut off the last track on here, which is like 12, 13 minutes, called Infinity, this would be more of a perfect length album, in that 43, 44 minute range. But yeah, so coming in at number 8 is their 13th overall studio album called Metal Commando. And, if things are kind of right on schedule, I know COVID really, fucked things up for a lot of bands, but these guys are good for an album every 2 to 3 years. Just good consistency. Put out an album, get out on the road. All right, let's move on. Coming in at number 7, their 11th overall studio album from 2016 called Rulebreaker. This is where they went kind of to a 6-piece. So this is the return of original guitar player Tom Nauman. He's a lefty guitar player, very cool. I love seeing these guys on stage when there's definitely more righties out there for sure, but it's cool to have a lefty in your band too, I think. Anyways, tracks to check out on this album. And what else was I going to tell you? Oh, this is actually the first album to feature Francesco Giovino on drums after Randy had left on Delivering the Black, which we'll talk about soon. But anyways, Rulebreaker. Favorite track on here, I'm going to say by far, Bullets and Tears. Absolutely love that song. The video is very cool. Check that one out. Angels of Mercy, which is a staple in their live set too. In Metal We Trust, great song. The End Is Near. You will see there, I think there is at least 7 to 8 tracks that have the name Fear in it, in the title of the song, and at least, I don't know, I would say probably 5 with the word metal in there. So you got a lot of fear and metal in these albums, but there is number 7 from 2016 called Rulebreaker. Coming in at number 6, and I think, oh, did I say actually I had, I think I said that, what album was that? Devil's Ground was their 4th overall studio album. Actually, I think that was their 5th, because this one is their 4th overall studio album. And coming in at number 6 is Black Sun. Killer artwork on this. This is a, this actually, as well as Seven Seals, was a bit conceptual too of an album. I forgot to mention that. But this would be their closest thing to, like, you know, a full concept. This is kind of space themed. As far as the concept, I think some sort of, you know, journey or whatever. But anyways, coming in at number 6 is Black Sun. There's the back cover. Tracks for you to check out would be the title track, Black Sun, Armageddon, and where is it? Cold Day in Hell. That is probably my favorite track on the whole album, and Armageddon too, really good. And there is a track on here called Fear, as I was telling you before. But check out Black Sun, coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5 is their 10th overall studio album from 2014. And last to feature Randy Black on drums. And I think after that he went on to, I'm not sure, I don't know if he went straight into, probably went straight out over to Destruction. But here is Delivering the Black from 2014, coming in at number 5. Just a superb album. This is a good, to me, this is a good mixture of the old and the new, I would say. There is the back cover, released on Frontier Records. Tracks to check out for sure. My favorite track on here, and I'm going to say by far again, Alive and on Fire. Love it. When Death Comes Knocking, and one of those kind of epic builders, One Night in December. Those are 3 tracks you should definitely check out from Delivering the Black. That leaves, what do we got here? We got 4 left, and these 4, they're just superb. And if you do want to check out some Primal Fear, as far as I'm concerned, you couldn't go wrong with any of these 4. And I'd say any of these 4 could be your number 1 easily. But my number 4 is their 1st overall studio album, the one where it all started in 1998. I got a nice original copy on Nuclear Blast here. This is just called Primal Fear. And the one thing I don't want to forget to note is their logo has not changed in 13 albums. I love that with these guys. I'm quirky with logos, to be honest with you. There is bands that change their logo every album. For example, Voivod, great band from Canada, and they change their logo every album, but it suits their style of music. It suits their album covers. But to have a consistent logo for a band like Primal Fear, it does fit. So just thought I'd throw that in there. Check out some great tracks. Chainbreaker was their first. That is just Painkiller era Judas Priest. I know we say that a lot, but it truly is. Silver and Gold, great track. But one of my other favorite tracks on here, it's not a real scorching metal track, but it's called Dollars. Check that one out. There is also a cover of Speed King on here. But coming in at number 4 from 1998 is self-titled Primal Fear. Okay, what do we got here? Coming in at number 3, their 9th overall studio album from 2012 called Unbreakable. And the best of kind of the new, you know, I know they've only been around since 98, but the newer era of Primal Fear. This one is the first to feature Alex Bayrod on guitar, and he is still a current member of this band. So another, great album cover here, and that is consistent with this discography. Let's see. There's the back cover. Songs for you to check out. I would Strike is a real, just a real pure speed metal type of track. Other favorites of mine, Bad Guys Wear Black, and the title track, Unbreakable. So coming in at number 3, their 9th overall studio album from 2012 called Unbreakable. Coming in at number 2, and these last two are the metal sound that I love about this band, and good to see on Metal Commando that they inserted a little bit more of that too. And again, you don't want the same album all the time, but coming in at number 2, their 1999 second overall studio album called Jaws of Death. This is one of those hard digipacks. It's a kind of Nuclear Blast original. Glad to have it. But what can we tell you about this album? There is some tracks that they still play live to this day. Final Embrace is one of them. Also, Under Your Spell, great track. But my favorite track on this album is called Church of Blood. A real heavy, priesty, Painkiller era type of song, but definitely don't be afraid to check out Jaws of Death from 1999. And that leaves one, and if you're a Primal Fear, you've guessed along so far and you know what it is. This album actually contains my overall favorite Primal Fear track, and probably the track that just hooked me and just reeled me right in, and that is Eye of an Eagle off of my number 1 from 2001 called Nuclear Fire. Awesome cover. There's that standard Primal Fear logo again. Back cover. This is a Nuclear Blast original. Glad to have it in the collection. But what other tracks? Angel in Black. Awesome track. And I would say the title track, Nuclear Fire. But yeah, what you're just, like I said, probably 5 times during this video, you're just getting some consistent metal with these guys throughout. You can bank on a decent album. Ralph's vocals are awesome. He is a true metal singer, opposed to just somebody that, opposed to like a guy like Kai Hansen, who just has his own unique sound. Not the best vocalist, but good for that band type of, if you know what I mean. I'm sure you do. So that is my number 1. I hope you enjoyed the ranking for Primal Fear. Got a couple other ranking videos planned, a couple other requests for, I think Raven is still on the list. Somebody has requested Canada's Own Anvil, who have a brand new album being released here in May via AFM Records called Impact is Imminent. Look, that album cover is pretty cool too. So yeah, you always get some fun with Anvil too. So anyways, until next time, stay heavy.